Hey everyone, today we'll be talking about functions. All right, so what are functions actually? Functions are rules that takes inputs and gives what? An output. So now, for example, we have f of x equal to x plus 2. Now, in this function, we have x as the input value. Okay, we have x as the input value, and the output of this function is what? X plus 2. Now, in this function, the statement here, it means every input of a function must be added to what? 2. Okay, so now if we have, for example, another function g of x, it's equal to, let's say, x squared plus 4. Now this, in this function, the input is x here, and it means every input in this function must be squared and then added to what? 4. That's how basically functions work. So now we'll quickly look into composition of functions. Now, what are composition of functions here? Composition of functions are just the combination of two or more functions, right? Now, these are two functions, right? So the combination of these two functions gives us what? A composition of function. Now, when these two functions are being combined, two or more functions, in the sense that the inner function becomes, the output of the inner function becomes the input of what? The outer function. For example, we say f of g of x. Now, let's say we want to look for the combination of these two functions. We say f of g of x. Now, what is the combination of this function? F of g of x. Now, the inner function, the output of the inner function now will be used as what? The new input of the what? The outer function. So now let's say g of x, it's what? X squared plus 4. Now this is x squared plus 4 for what? The g function. Now we said the inner function, the output of the inner function becomes what? The new input of what? The outer function. So now the f of x no longer becomes f of x, it becomes f of x squared plus 4, which is the output of what? The g function. So it will now be f of x squared plus 4. And if we look back, in this function, this f function, the rule states in this function that for every input value, it must be added to what? 2. So this function must be added to what? 2. It will now be what? X squared plus 4 plus 2. That's how to know how to solve for what? Composition of functions. All right. So we talk about reverse composition. Now, reverse composition is just changing the order in which a function was applied. For example, we say the normal composition is g of x, and now the new composition will now be f of g. F of g is the normal combination. So now the new combination will now be g of f. So now we've changed the order in which this function was applied. Thank you. That's all for function. Okay, so I'll be leaving you guys with an assignment for you guys to follow. Let's say we have
quiz.